What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Zcash today, ZEC USD. It is the 5th day of December, and here we are sitting at about $372, $73 with 7 hours and 36 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it. So we did have the move. We actually went right to the target zone where at the low we were saying we would likely move up to. The call was to move up to about $420 to $440, with the exception that we could move higher, but the call was 400 or 420 to 440 because we were expecting that you would stop probably right here at this 382 and maybe, just maybe, you go a little bit above it, right? This daily low close here is what gave us the inclination that maybe you push up to 440. If we were to push higher, we did accept that we could go to 526, 562, and that would have been a really, really nice moment for people to get off, but we were more expecting this area here as a point of resistance. So hopefully anybody who had some losses, if you bought at unideal areas, which again, we were advocating that nobody buy here, we were advocating that people sell here and that nobody buy here. We advocated the buy here. Hopefully, if you did buy here and you didn't have a chance to, or if you did buy here because we're advocating the buy here and you didn't have a chance to sell, hopefully that was a nice secondary opportunity there for you, and you had some limit orders placed. Right, here we are at $371 right now. We went exactly to the 382, exactly where we expected to go to, back testing prior support and finding dramatic resistance. It's all completely obvious at this point that Zcash will go lower, right? It will go lower. Now, it's very obvious, but with that, tomorrow, I mean, maybe even later today, who knows, you could still wick up. You could wick up higher. Even though we're going lower, it might not be something exactly like this where it's just methodical and tenacious straight to the downside. We might have more movement to go. It might be more consolidation before we actually break out to the downside. Let's look at the short-term stuff and then we'll go from there, okay? By the way, for anybody watching this, in case you're new to the story here, we fully expect that Zcash will recover. We fully expect that Zcash will see prices that are worth multiple thousands of dollars by the end of the cycle. It's just, I think, for right now, we're probably going to consolidate for, I mean, we've been doing it now for about 4 weeks. We're probably going to consolidate for another 4 weeks at the least, and then we can start to move up again, okay? Like it might be sometime in early January before you actually see higher highs. It might even be sometime in early February before you actually see higher highs. Okay, I don't think that we're going to be dropping that whole time, but just in this consolidation phase nonetheless. Looking at the 1 hour time frame here, you were building with volume. That's nice. Every single time moving up. That's great. Now you're moving down without volume. You know, you are finding support at prior resistance here. It's possible. It is possible that you could move up higher. This day looking like this is looking like this is not a friendly look, but there's still 7 hours and 33 minutes left in the day. We could certainly come back by the end of the day and move up a little bit, which if we do, that could give some promise to the idea that we do move higher. But again, this harsh rejection, and harsh is probably the right word, very harsh rejection off the 382 typically implies that we have lower to go. But if you go to the 382 and you find support at the 236, typically that implies that we go to the golden ratio. So these $524 to $559 target areas might be something to anticipate, which from here, from the current price, that was my cat if you guys heard that, 41 to 50%, that's not bad gains in for a short-term play. What might play out in the next couple of days here or over the coming days if we find support here. Let's look at the short-term stuff and we'll see. 1 hour time frame here. Again, in case I'm confusing, because I know we've thrown you a few different ways, right? Talking about how this was a high, we're probably going to go lower, but there's still, but I want to be clear here. There's still a possibility that the door is still open that we could move higher to prices that are even above $500 before inevitably moving lower. Don't get excited if we move higher. It's still a lower high. We still will likely move lower than this low here at some point, okay? In other words, if you're looking to buy Zcash, but you just don't know, you feel like you want to pull the trigger, but you don't know, don't let it move up cause you to FOMO, because it will get given back. We likely do still have a day with destiny below this low. If I was looking to buy Zcash, I would at least wait until we see how the move below that low resolves itself, you know, something like that. There's no rush, okay? No rush, even if we pump, but I'm not necessarily calling for a pump yet. Let's see how the charts look, okay? 1 hour time frame. I like that you're finding support here. I like that there's not a lot of selling pressure on the volume side of things. You are finding support at prior resistance too. That looks good. The RSI is bullish overall on the 1 hour, and you are at an area where you've liked it to bounce, so that's actually a nice look in itself. Stochastics are reset. They're in the oversold zone right now, but they are reset. The MACD is also bullish, so all good things there. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, also looking like you want to pump higher. You know, it's Pretty uncommon, but common enough. It happens sometimes. You know, you find resistance here at the 60 and then come down. But whenever you break out of a downtrend like this, you would typically expect that you go to the overbought zone. Typically, let's just see if we can find another example of that. You know, here's a downtrend. Whenever you broke out of it, you went to the overbought zone. Here's an uptrend. When you broke out of it, you didn't get into the oversold zone, but you got very close, right? This isn't so close. I guess it's pretty close to the overbought zone. It can happen. Again, it's not like completely unheard of. It's just the less common outcome. You know, downtrend here, you did stop. You stopped right at the same area. You came back down. Let's actually look at this and just kind of compare notes here. See what we did. You saw a slightly lower low, and then you moved up higher. This was all within the consolidation range. So maybe we're due for something like that. I don't know. It's not really helpful one way or another. I guess we could find resistance here. This could be enough. The 4-hour time frame, the RSI has some bullish prospects to it, but that might have been it. I'm not getting enough to determine with this, are we moving higher or lower, really. If anything, I would guess that we are probably going to move lower with the 4-hour RSI. The stochastics are kind of in this weird situation as well where they're pointed down, so it makes sense that we'd go lower, but you're also right here at the 50, which is a perfect area to bounce. You typically do bounce right at this area, so probably find some support and then continue to move higher. That'd be my thoughts. The MACD is also at a point of resistance as well. Man, it is not helpful. This is not helpful at all. The 4-hour time frame is very confusing. So whenever the time frames are confusing, we're going to, or whenever they're indecisive, let's say, when they're at kind of critical moments like this, I like to leave if-then statements. Okay, if we get a 4-hour time frame to close above $424, we likely do continue up to $524 to $560. If we get a 4-hour time frame or higher time frame to close above $424, we will move higher. If we wick above it and then we close below, nothing. That's not good. That's not a good thing. You want to close above the 382. Okay. Not that wicking above and then closing below is a bad thing. It's just it's not what you're looking. It's not the same thing as closing above. I don't care if you go above this high. If you're closing back below the 382, job's not finished. You could still come down from there. If you go above that high and you close above the 382, likely the statistical probability that you go to the golden ratio goes up tremendously. And again, that's 524 to 560 if we move higher. However, if we start closing 4-hour time frames below the 236, which we have 3 hours and 30 minutes left in this 4-hour time frame, so it'll take some time. If we start closing 4-hour time frames below the 236, then likely we will go lower than this low. And to what price are we going to? I mean, theoretically, if we break below $300, the outcome should take us all the way down below $200. We should be working our way down to like $170 if this 236 doesn't hold. It's completely possible, by the way, let's mention this too, it's completely possible that this low is the low of this overall consolidation phase. It is completely possible that that's it. Zcash now consolidates in this range for a month or at least another couple of weeks and then continues to build from there. It's completely possible that outcome would happen as well. Likely we don't just rip from here, so we'll have some time to figure that out if that's the case. But the most probable outcome, in my opinion, is one of two things. One, we're finding resistance here, and then we're moving lower. Two, and probably exactly like to this level here, if not a little bit below. Whoops. So somewhere like right here. Or number two, we move up to the golden ratio, and then we move down. Those are the two most probable outcomes, in my opinion, at least at the moment. I want to wait and see how things go. The 4-hour is not really helpful here because, again, you're either about to break through the 50 and go lower, that's bearish on the stochastics, or you're about to find support at the 50. You're either about to reject here from the 60 like you have before and then go back to the oversold zone, or you're about to find support at the 50 and move higher. You've got unfinished business to the overbought zone, in which case, again, you go up to this 520 to 560 area. You're about to find resistance here at the 0, or you're about to break through it and then push the price higher as well. You're at this kind of critical moment. So if-then statements, right? If I had to give you a guess, what my guess is, I would say this is the high. We are finding resistance here and we're going to move down. That's validated once we get 2 4-hour candles to close below $372. That's invalidated once we get a 4-hour candle to close above $424. If we close one candle above and then the next candle closes below, that invalidates the invalidation. As in, if we close one candle up, but then the next candle closes below the 382, likely we do not go here. 2 candle closes in a row would be enough to get me excited that we are moving up to the golden ratio. That's technically enough to validate, but even one candle, I would say, would up the probability enough that we go up here. Anyways, that's Zcash. I don't know if I have anything else that I want to say. You're bouncing off the daily RSI's oversold zone, but you're also right around the 40 where it might find resistance, you know. Again, by the end of the day, maybe from here we push up a little bit. Maybe we do push up a little bit, but I don't know if we go much past that point. That's some serious resistance right there. Stochastics are also at a point to reject, and the MACD is crossing below the zero. I think this thing continues pushing lower. As time goes on, as we continue to configure ourselves and work our way to higher prices, I do fully expect that Zcash will see $919, $2,770, and even prices that are beyond that, okay, by the end of this cycle. But first, a little consolidation, and then we will reconcile and come back later. I've got nothing else. Hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. Take care. Bye.